this occasion and take your questions. I'd also like to thank the presence of Honorable Ministers of State, V. Muralidharan, Srimati Meenakshi Lekhi, Shri R.R. Singh, Secretary Shri Vinay Quatra on the dais. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of Secretary Shri Saurabh Kumar, Secretary CPV and OIA, Dr. Asif Saeed, Secretary External Relations, Shri Ammu Ravi, as well as Special Secretary ER and DPA, Shri Pahat Kumar. So, I request you to make opening remarks, after which we can do it from there also as convenient. So.
I don't need that. A very good morning to all of you. My namaskar. Our ministers of state, our secretaries, and friends of the media. It's really a very great pleasure to talk to all of you today as we mark the completion of 9 years of the Modi government. I think most of you would not dispute that among the many areas where there's been a significant transformation, foreign policy would surely be among them. It's reflected in the country's higher standing, greater influence, bigger footprint, new concepts, and stronger delivery. Now, there are many ways by which one can judge how foreign policy has changed, how it has delivered, where has it made its deepest impact. I would like to pick two broad themes today as the metrics by which you can evaluate Indian foreign policy over the last 9 years. The first theme is, how does the world see India today? And the second is really, how has foreign policy affected the lives of the common citizen? So those are really the two perspectives from which I would like to present to you the foreign policy of the last 9 years. Now, in terms of how the world sees India today, I think you can't get a better set of people than those sitting on the podium to give you that view, because we travel out, we engage people on behalf of India, we talk to the leaderships in different places, since we travel around, we mix with many sections of society. So what, in a sense, I present to you is an accumulation of our collective experiences. And if I were to pick them, probably the one which I would start off with is how much today the world, especially the global south, perceives India as a development partner, as a credible, effective development partner with delivery on the ground. And I'm just reminded of my last visit. I came back yesterday morning from Namibia. And I inaugurated formally a center of excellence in IT, which has been functioning there about a year and a half. And the impact on Technology University of Namibia by our giving a Param supercomputer, having trainers out there, working with them, developing cyber security skills, developing entrepreneurial skills, promoting research. I cannot describe to you the excitement in the university. Or I look at the trip before that, a very different place and a very different subject. I was in Guyana, and it so happened at that time, we were delivering for the first time ever a ferry. A first time ever a ferry that far away to the continent, to the southern, to the western hemisphere, that too in the south. And the ferry had a transformational message for the Guyanese, because it made suddenly the islands and even the coastline far more accessible. So actually you had the entire Guyanese cabinet, the previous president, everybody really turned out, because for them it was such a big event. A little bit before that, I was in Mozambique. I was urged to take a ride on a train which we had supplied. It wasn't just a train. We actually made possible the beginnings of a suburban rail system in Maputo, which would decongest that city, because the kind of trains and the price points and the quality that we did, that actually had a really a very big impact on the planning. I could give you many more examples. In Kenya, there was a textile factory which was closed down, which we helped to revive. every Kenyan, if you use the word Rivatex, every Kenyan knows this textile factory. Or indeed, go to Mauritius. They are enormously proud of this Metro X, which was built by an Indian company based on development spoke. And it isn't just my experience. I mean, my colleagues would vouch for something similar happening with it. Dr. Ranjan was telling me about Cardamom Seed Center, which he had seen in Laos. Or Muralidharanji was talking about entrepreneurship development centers, which he saw in Djibouti and I think in Rwanda. Am I correct? So wherever you go today, and I want you to understand today how big our development footprint is. It is today extending across 78 nations, and we have done more than 600 major projects. But most of all, the impact is actually in our own neighborhood. But if you look, we've just had the visit of Nepal's Prime Minister, and again, there was a stock taking of, and frankly, satisfaction at a lot of what has been achieved, a lot of new projects which are coming on stream. But if you look at the neighborhood at South Asia, in the last 9 years, whether it is power transmission, power generation, whether it is diesel supply, fuel supply, whether it is bridges, roads, railways, ICPs, actually the region is changing, very in the case of Maldives. So the first point I want to make to you is a large part of the world today sees us as a development partner, not just as a development partner who lives up to what Prime Minister enunciated as the Pala principles, which is we do with our partners what is their priority. So it is one part of it is a credibility, one part of it is also what is it they are doing. It is something which is important for them. They have determined what it is, or we have mutually determined what it is. And that, I think, today has very significantly enhanced our stand. The second image of India today is of an economic collaborator. An economic collaborator, not just with the developing South, but with the global economy. And you can see that in terms of the FDI flows, in terms of the increased exports, in terms of actually this very important conversation taking place in the world today about trusted collaboration. I was in my last visit to the US, and Foreign Secretary has just come back, he's taken that forward. The American Semiconductor Association told me that to the best of their knowledge, they employ at least 40,000 engineers in India on chips design alone. And that's just the bit which they know. So the point I want to make here is, apart from development in terms of South-South, there's a larger economic impact we are making, and that is today increasingly recognized. And the third is really as a contributor. And perhaps there cannot be a better example of our contribution than vaccine mapping.